Am I the a-hole for refusing to go back to my parents' house as long as my sister is still living with them? I'm 19, female, in college, and when the semester finished a couple of weeks ago I had planned to stay with some friends. But my parents told me they wanted me to come home so bad and I should spend some time with my family, them and my 15-year-old sister. So I went home for summer break. I didn't really want to be there, because I feel like my parents spoil my younger sister and I find it so annoying, and her attitude can be really annoying, but they're family, you know. It lasted 3 days when I found out my sister had put a camera in my room. I was so mad, and my sister told me I was being such a drama queen and there's nothing wrong with getting some footage of me. She tried to claim it was no different to home movies. My parents were telling me to calm down while I confronted my sister, and they acted like she was a baby who didn't get what she was doing, when she's old enough to know so much better and she's old enough to be taught at the very least. I ended up deleting all the stuff I found of me on my sister's laptop, and then I went to my friend's place like I had originally planned. My parents thought I was just gone for the night, but I told them I wasn't coming back again. They gave me a few more days, and when they realized I was serious they told me I need to come back home sometimes, and in the heat of the anger I'm still feeling I told them I won't go back to their house as long as my sister still lives with them. What I really should have said, and what I do feel, is that there's no point for me to go back to them anymore when they value her way more than me and don't seem to give a shit about me. Because seriously, acting like it was no big deal what she did. It was so fucking gross. My parents told me I shouldn't talk that way about my younger sister, and I'm throwing a toddler's tantrum instead of responding to all of this like an adult should. Am I the a-hole?
So your parents are perfectly okay your sister invading your privacy? No, fuck that. Not the a-hole, and think about your contact with your parents.
Yep. They didn't seem to care about it at all and acted like I was so unreasonable for being bothered by it.
Your parents want you to respond as an adult? Okay. Get the police involved. That's what adults would do upon finding out they're being secretly recorded in their bedroom. Not the a-hole. Your parents and sister certainly are.
Was gonna say, OP's parents absolutely do not want her to respond to this situation the way an adult would.
If she was filming you in your bedroom, and she filmed you undressed without your knowledge, then she's almost certainly committed a criminal offense.
I would call the police on my sister. She is a creep. I don't care that she is 15. And your parents. Oh my fucking god. Unbelievable. You do better for yourself to stay away from all of them. Not the a-hole.
Am I the a-hole for moving across the country and telling my daughter that they are the reason I am an absent grandparent? So I have 2 grandkids that are 4 and 7. I live about 45 minutes away from them. At the beginning, I was still working, so it was hard to make time to visit them. I would go up to visit them and it sadly was not fun. I am not baby crazy and do not want to spend my whole day watching a kid sleep. So I would stay for 2 to 3 hours before going home. My daughter hated that I wouldn't spend more time, and I told her when they are older we will bond more. I got in a car accident. It wasn't bad and it was my fault. The sun got in my eyes and I bumped into someone's car. In total, it was like $300 of damage since their car had dents in the back. It was a very minor accident. After that my daughter forbade me from driving anywhere with her kids, so now when I go up, I can't do anything with the kiddos. There is only so much I can do in the house, and I would have loved to take them out to places. I have asked her to drive down since I live in a walkable area, but no. It is too difficult to get them loaded up and down here. I still tried, but the more she didn't want to visit me the more I got tired of this. Not to mention she was always on me about not being more involved. I have told her so many times that you don't let me do much with them. My breaking point was last summer. I was babysitting them in the summer and I brought up a kid's sprinkler. You connect it to the hose and the kids run through it on the splash pad. The kids had a great time, but my daughter was pissed since it ruined the grass. The water made mud and kids running messed up the grass. After that I just stopped trying. I told her to take the kids to me and she refused. I am retiring and selling my home. I wish to move near the Blue Mountains, which is across the country. I told all the kids and everyone was happy for me, but my daughter. We got into a huge fight about me being a shit grandparent. I told her she was the reason I was absent grandparent. She called me a jerk.
Not the a-hole. It's not that hard to get 2 kids in a car for 45 minutes. She just doesn't want to. I live at the base of the Blue Mountains, and my in-laws live near the airport. We go visit them with our 7 years old roughly once a fortnight. Sometimes they come to us, but we like going out there and looking at the beach. We've done this since the little one was a baby. It's not hard. They have the best adventures, can jump on the light rail, ferry, whatever, and go to different places. Good luck with your move.
I am so excited to move back home. I truly miss that area and absolutely hate where I live now. It's flat. Winter and fall don't exist. I miss seeing the seasons change. I miss snow.
I can understand that. But I have to say, my grandparents didn't live near us when I was growing up. The closest one lived a 3-hour drive away. That grandfather rarely came to see us. He was a total homebody, but that was fine. He lived on Cape Cod. We could go out for walks along the bog, etc., and just hang out. I never felt that he was an uninvolved grandparent. He just lived far away. I mean, what is your daughter expecting? You are allowed to live your own life. Hell, nowadays, you can just get on a video call and talk to the grandkids. Sure, it's not in person, but you can see their faces.
She expects free babysitting.
Moving away, you are not the a-hole. That being said, it will probably further strain what sounds like an already strained relationship. Sharing what I witnessed, as the aunt, in a similar situation. My sister set up boundaries, some arbitrary, some not, and my mom struggled with them in regards to the grandkids. Mom's idea of a grandma was to spoil them, with no responsibility, then give them back. My sister's was you are the adult watching them and rules need to be enforced. Fast forward a few years, and they are no contact. Ultimately, my mom wanted a TV grandma relationship and couldn't respect my sister's boundaries. Despite being retired with lots of free time, my sister with a full-time job and 4 kids had to come to them. On the flip side, my sister would put some unreasonable demands and restrictions, looking for reasons to exclude things. I think this is due to seeing her kids getting the attention she wished she had gotten from my mother and trying to sabotage things. The grandkids are the ones who suffered in the end. Going no contact has helped them both thrive and become better people. I'm not saying this mirrors your situation in any way. Just shared to provide a different perspective.
I'm going to go against the grain and say everyone sucks here. You can do a lot of things with your grandkids that don't involve sprinklers or being in a walkable city. My parents come down quite often and will walk my son to the park. They'll watch a movie with him. They'll pull out building blocks and we'll spend hours just being with him. They brought down a pumpkin and spent a day carving pumpkins and then spent the last 15 minutes cleaning up the mess. My parents go down and watch my nephews play soccer or baseball almost every other week. It's about being there for them. They always communicate their plans with us before doing anything, so we are prepared and can ask for a different idea. It's really not easy to load a kid up and drive them. It feels like you both need to work on your communication skills. She is allowed to be upset by the sprinkler ruining her grass and making her backyard a mud pit. I would go up to visit them, and it sadly was not fun. I am not baby crazy and do not want to spend my whole day watching a kid sleep. I hate to break it to you, but babies really aren't fun. They sleep a lot. It's not about doing fun things with them at that age. It's about being there and helping your daughter who has a baby and was probably struggling. No, mom wants to hear their child is not fun after opening up their home. It would make me not want my mom to come around. My dad isn't baby crazy either, but he has never verbalized it.
Am I the a-hole for banning my daughter from going to her best friend's house? My daughter and her best friend, Will, have been friends since they were 5 and I let her sleep over at his house sometimes. They're 13. Her best friend is a really sweet boy and I love their dynamic. I think the both of them are adorable, but I don't think I can continue letting her go to his house. This is so insane, but my daughter fell and broke her arm while at their house. Accidents happen, so I would have been understanding if his mom called me, but she didn't. I had no idea about it until my daughter came home the next day. She didn't have a phone because hers was broken and I didn't get around to buying her a new one yet because we've had a lot of expenses. So I trusted her parents would call me if there was an issue. But no, she spent the night at their house and then walked home with her best friend. So his parents didn't even walk her home while her arm was broken. The most insane part of this all is that her mom is a nurse, so there isn't any excuse. I told her that I find it really messed up that she didn't tell me, and it turned into a whole argument. She said my daughter seemed fine and she was playing afterwards and she was too exhausted to take her to the hospital. She said she knew I would make a big deal out of nothing, so she thought it could wait. I insulted her, if I'm honest. I said she was a terrible parent and treated my daughter terribly. She let her walk home alone, well with a child, but a parent should have been with her, and she should have called me the second my daughter was hurt. She insulted me back and it was a whole mess. I told my daughter and my son that they can't go over to that house anymore because that kid's parents are clearly insane. My daughter is especially sad about this because that is her best friend, but I do think it is for the best. I do not feel comfortable leaving them alone together. I feel like those parents are neglectful.
Not the a-hole, can he come round to yours?
His parents probably aren't going to let him after the fight we had, but he's of course welcome to come. I still love him, I don't blame him.
Do you know where the nurse's husband was during all of this? Or what his position is on this? Or is he just as stupid and negligent?
I honestly didn't speak to him, and after that phone call she told me to never contact them again, so I'm guessing I won't be speaking to him about it. Either way, he was at home and could have called me himself or done something about it.
I feel like nurses are the last people to bring their own kids into the doctors. They seem to shrug a lot off in my experience. 100% you should have been called right away to choose if you wanted to seek medical care for your kiddo though. She had no right to make that choice for you. I'd be livid.
Not the a-hole. Wow, I'm a nurse, and I'm disgusted. Honestly, I'd report her to the local board of nursing. I can't even wrap my head around how messed up this is. Don't ever let your child over there again. They're negligent and a danger to your daughter.
Not the a-hole. It's one thing if she was injured, and it appeared your daughter was fine afterward. But the mom still should have contacted you immediately, even if it was minor in her eyes, to give you the choice of coming to get her. You are her parent. She should have spoken to you about it herself. It doesn't matter if she is tired. She should have picked up the phone and let you decide if she needed to go to the emergency room. However, most emergency rooms only nowadays put a brace on the arm until an appointment with an orthopedic can be made. Her excuse that she is tired is not valid in my eyes. She wouldn't be able to take her to the emergency room anyway because, unless life-threatening, a parent needs to be on site to make a medical decision. You would have to take your daughter, not her. A nurse would know this. I would limit playtime at this boy's house. If they want to play, they can do so at your place.
Am I the a-hole for warning my brother's fiancé her wedding dress might cause problems? My brother is getting married soon, and his fiancé chose a very revealing wedding dress. It's low cut, with a thigh-high slit and a sheer back. I'm all for people wearing what they want, but our family is quite conservative and opinionated, and I know this dress will cause a lot of drama, especially with our grandparents, talking people walking out on the wedding kind of drama. At a family dinner, I pulled her aside and gently suggested she might want to reconsider her choice, explaining the likely reactions from our older relatives. I made sure to clarify that I absolutely respect it's her choice and her special day, but wanted to at least warn her of what could happen. She got very upset and said it's her wedding and she'll wear whatever she wants. My brother is now mad at me, accusing me of trying to control their wedding. Some of my family members think I was just looking out for her, while others say I overstepped. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother's fiancé her wedding dress might be inappropriate for our conservative family?
Gentle, you are the a-hole. The time to mention it would have been before she went shopping. And even then, remember that it's just your guess that your grandparents will embarrass themselves by huffing out in front of everyone because of a dress. If she already picked out the dress, she's likely both emotionally and financially quite invested in it. This is not something she can easily change. It does sound a bit controlling to come to her now, after she's found the dress she loves, and to tell her she made the wrong choice.
The groom should have discussed it with her before the shopping. I absolutely agree that now that the dress has been purchased, it's more complicated, but if the family is likely to react as dramatically as OP suspects, the bride absolutely should have that information, and the sooner the better. I think that the groom is the a-hole here. Even if he doesn't care about his family shit-talking his bride wife, she should know that it's a plausible outcome. If I picked out a dress that I loved, that my groom okayed, either having seen it or by description, and his grandparents left the wedding out of disgust, aunts and uncles spent the whole wedding looking at me like a harlot, the family refused to put up wedding photos with those of other siblings, the skankiness of my wedding dress was a point of discussion for years. I would be incredibly angry if my partner didn't discuss these possibilities with me because he didn't care. The worst time for the bride to find out about this dynamic would be if people leave during the ceremony. The second worst is day of. The more time she has to process and react, the better. At the very least, she'll at least be prepared to brush off any bullshit that comes her way. Maybe OP overstepped a little bit, but if this was the first only time future sister-in-law was hearing about the potential for these reactions, I think OP did her a solid.
Why is your first inclination to tell her to find a different dress, instead of telling her you have her back in case anything comes up? Or better yet, just not telling her anything because that's a surefire way to make her feel super insecure about her body during her wedding. You are the a-hole. Seems like the only drama that's happening is because of you making a problem where there wasn't one.
You are the a-hole. Might be inappropriate for our conservative family. If that is the case, the dress is not the problem. Your a-hole family is. You massively overstepped. She got very upset and said it's her wedding and she'll wear whatever she wants. This is the only reasonable answer. You can be glad you are still invited. And her reaction to you shows she is well capable of handling all the other a-holes who caused drama like you did.
Not the a-hole. I think a lot of people on Reddit forget that the internet isn't real life and that conservative people do exist. You didn't tell her she needed to change her dress. You warned her of what will happen if she doesn't. Giving someone a heads up does not make you an a-hole, and I'm sure the bride will be angry and shocked Pikachu when people actively leave her wedding over the dress. At this point, it's her mistake to make unless she doesn't care about the outcome.
This is a case where people like to shoot the messenger. I know you were looking out for your brother, but I'm sure your future sister-in-law knows how your family is. And she decided to wear that dress anyway. So you could have kept your mouth shut, let the relatives walk out, and then the heat would have been on your brother and his wife, the actual people who would have caused the walkout. But now everyone is mad at you and they will blame you if people do walk out because you put the thought in their heads. Lesson learned for the future. You are the a-hole to yourself for opening your mouth when no one asked your opinion.
Am I the a-hole for making my boyfriend's daughter hang up the phone? I, 28 female, have been with my boyfriend, 30 male, for 2 years. He's got kids with his ex-wife, boy, 9 almost 10, and girl who turned 8 today. They've been divorced for 7 years. His ex-wife and him are weirdly good friends. We had planned a special dinner for his daughter for her birthday at a restaurant for her, but we had to bump the time back due to other things. So while we were there with us, the kids, my parents, his mom, his cousins and their kids, my brother and sister, his ex-wife texts him. They alternate birthdays each year and this year is his, so he took off all week and has them for 10 consecutive days, which is rare for him, so she was texting to ask when she could call to talk to their daughter, Willow, on her birthday. My boyfriend says she can call right then, so she does. Willow and her brother are total mama's girl boys. So when she's on the phone they're ignoring everyone else there. My grandmother tried to talk to Willow and Willow completely ignored her and kept talking to her mom, and my boyfriend didn't even put the phone on speaker, he just handed it to her, so I have no idea what her mom was even saying, and eventually after a little over probably 5 minutes I tell Willow to hang up the phone. Willow didn't want to, but she did. She stayed upset the rest of the dinner, and my boyfriend asked me when we got home what Willow was talking about when she said I told her to stop talking to her mom. I said I made her hang up the phone because she was ignoring everyone else around her that came to celebrate with her just to talk to her mom, who she's gonna see in 5 days. My boyfriend got mad at me and said that's not how this works. According to him, whoever has the kids on their birthday, the other parent calls them usually towards the end of the day so that no plans were interrupted and they're allowed to talk until they're both ready to hang up. He said she asked if she could call and he said yes, because he had told her originally that that was when we would be done with all our plans for the day before we had to change the time, so that was when she had expected to be able to talk to Willow. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but my boyfriend is really mad at me, saying it wasn't my place to tell Willow and her brother that they had to hang up on their mom and that I'm causing a problem where there wasn't one before, and if I can't see that then maybe we shouldn't be together. I still don't think it was wrong to have her hang up, but he's pretty mad and Willow and her brother are both now avoiding me.
You are the a-hole. An 8-year-old speaks to her mother on the phone on her birthday for 5 minutes and you take offense? You are not parent, step-parent, or guardian of this child. Her father has said that she can speak to her mother at this time. You have no right to counter that. And it's a little rude that your grandmother was trying to interrupt Willow's conversation with her mother, who she hasn't seen in almost a week, and it's super weird that you think that the kid was the rude one in that interaction. Also, you griping that the call wasn't on speaker, so I don't even know what X was saying, just gives away how jealous you are of your boyfriend's X word of advice. If he's a good parent, he will pick his kids over you every time. So don't go trying to throw your weight around there unless you're prepared to lose.
It's also because Willow and her brother were missing their mom because they live with her and my boyfriend gets them on the weekends. So she could have made it shorter knowing how much the kids are attached to her hip so that it didn't drag out. I know Willow told her we were out to dinner. If I hadn't had her hang up, Willow would have talked for the rest of the dinner, and that's rude in my opinion.
You are the a-hole. Not your kid, not your business. Mom texted your boyfriend and asked if she could call. He said yes and gave his daughter the phone. If you had an issue, you should have taken it to your boyfriend, not make an 8-year-old hang up on their mom who called them on their birthday. Also, it's none of your business what they said on the phone. I'd imagine the fact that she and your boyfriend are weirdly good friends is why he felt comfortable enough not putting the phone on speaker and standing over her for every word of the conversation. Unlike you. Edit, you also made her hang up after 5 minutes. I'm 30 and can't get off the phone with my mom in 5 minutes. You dick.
I think he should dump you. You don't care about the feelings of the children. Your grandma was rude as fuck, yet you blame it on the 8 years old. You are jealous of his ex-wife and you are so insecure you feel you need to hear what his ex is talking about with her kids. I wouldn't want you near my children if I had any. Any good parent would choose their children over the jealous, insecure girlfriend. I sure hope he does. In case it wasn't clear yet, you are the a-hole.
Update. Like so many of you were hoping for, my boyfriend broke up with me by way of bringing anything I had at his house to my apartment this morning. We've never lived together and he never gave me a key to his house before he went somewhere with the kids. He said he didn't want to be with someone who was going to cause issues with his ex-wife, and apparently he had a long list of my transgressions which he had written down and handed to me. He said it was over and left immediately without letting me say anything to him.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos.